Batman switches out his ride. Here's your look at the new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse. This is the Bat Raptor. The Bat-Raptor is a state-of-the-art three-wheeled open-air roadster built by the Dark Knight himself. Powered by a mighty engine, the trike is able to make massive leaps, scale brutal terrain, and chase down the most evasive criminals. It also features a built-in grappling system and an emergency ejection seat. Now the first thing we're going to do is figure out how big the Bat-Raptor is. We're going to technically do this in two parts. You'll see what I mean in a second. From the back largest tire to the smaller front singular tire, we'll stop it right there. And as I said, this is going to be a two-parter. From one end to the other, the Bat-Raptor is 10.3 inches in length. And switching that over to centimeters right now, you're looking at 26.3, so almost 26.5 centimeters long. I did say it actually was a two-parter because you can actually take the front section of the Bat-Raptor and you can shift it forward. I mean, obviously this part right here, the cockpit, doesn't affect the full length of it, but for the full extent of it, I'll show you guys what it looks like right there. And then we'll just reset everything back to where we started from. There we go. And from the one tire where we started before to now a much longer length, we're going to stop it right there. You'll see the difference in the proof is in the pudding. The difference now, you're looking at 11.5 inches in length. And now you're looking at centimeters being 29.2. So almost 30 centimeters, not quite 30 centimeters, but still 29.2 centimeters long. I'd like to send out a big thank you to the folks over at McFarlane Toys who were nice enough to send this sample my way. If, of course, you guys are interested in picking these ones up, the DC Multiverse figures are everywhere now, from Walmart's, Toys R Us's, here in Canada, of course. Toys R Us has the Bat-Raptor currently in stock. Walmart's, I haven't seen as many of them pop up, but certainly the figures are rampant everywhere that you guys should be able to find them quite easily nowadays. And it's really good the fact that they are circulating as much as they are. Included for the one accessory, the Bat-Raptor comes included with the Bat trading card. It's technically just a trading card. I threw Bat in the front of it. But you can see there's the Bat-Raptor. Very different that we're getting this as opposed to a Batmobile. It's interesting the fact that the Bat-Raptor plays very small a role in its first appearance. We'll flip that around. The Batman Who Laughs #1 so happens to be an appearance, and that's from Comics 2018. The length here, in this case, real world length, is 14 feet 8 inches. The width 8 feet 8 inches, and the height is a very small, modest 4 feet in length, with the weight being 855 pounds. Read-up, of course, was something I provided at the beginning of this review, and just some really nice artwork for how it's pulled from the pages of the comic source material that is the Bat-Raptor. Okay, so we'll put that right there. As I said, it didn't play too much the role, actually, in the Batman Who Laughs, but it's nice the fact that we do kind of get what I feel could easily be a taste of McFarlane Toys touching the waters to kind of gauge whether there would be public interest involved in wanting to pick up vehicles. And I feel like the Bat-Raptor probably will be the start of what will be larger vehicles. And that's why I really think it's good to pick up pieces like this, because it does show not only McFarlane Toys but retail markets that we are in fact interested in vehicles. I know I certainly am interested in vehicles. So let's have a look at things and see how things go. And then we'll certainly most definitely bring in a Batman figure, because of course he's going to have to be sitting inside the cockpit section of the Bat-Raptor. For this, we'll kind of start things by defaulting things back to normal, a more compact size for the Bat-Raptor. It's decked out all in all black, but don't let just all black fool you, because there are a two-tone effect happening right here. You can sort of see where it's been panel lined throughout the more matte black with this nice shinier black. Best represented, I feel, here in the front bat emblem. It's a really neat looking emblem, the way it covers and wraps its way over to the sides. And you can sort of see the rivet points of the way it's been assembled in place. When I look at this, I feel slightly inspired, not me myself inspired, but I feel like the vehicle was probably inspired slightly by maybe the tumbler, because it does very much feel and look like a tumbler, especially when you look at the back end of it. I mean, very much does that look like the Bat Tumbler, other than, again, the fact that the thrusters along the top, not in the center section right here. The tires are large and broad and feature their own little bat treads. So if you certainly are wanting to track the Batman on the Raptor, you could probably simply just follow the tracks, as they certainly will have their own little bat logos in there. The tires appear to be all rubber, or certainly the center section here is done in plastic, but the outer sections of 3 tires, of course this being a tricycle, they do feel like they are rubber material, and I like the fact that they are rubber. Think of the last time you got yourself a vehicle, for even the fact that we would get ourselves a vehicle for a multiverse line. It's never happened, really. And then think of the time that we actually would have got rubber tires. Usually they're always plastic, but it definitely does feel like these are rubber rubber tires versus plastic. The back section here, again, sports 4 ports, 4 exhaust ports or 4 thruster ports there. I like that they've kind of airbrushed each one of the circles, so it actually looks like it's hot to the touch. You've got a couple of tail lights there happening on the back. Really nice, kind of brushing of darker paint that's been put over top of it to kind of look like it's been kind of dirtied up a bit. It's not a clean and pristine vehicle, though really like the rest of the actual material of the actual vehicle looks like it's pretty clean. There's not a lot of scuff and damage to it. There are a few little areas which I do like that they added a little scuffing to. You can see that there's some nice silver that they've kind of slashed at the bottom here to kind of give it the look that there's scratches done to the surface. Now, I don't know how functional this would be. If this got bent and frayed and sharpened, it would certainly most cut into that tire, and that would just defeat the purpose completely. But it seems to kind of work. Like, the design of it really does work. You've got that additional silver happening here on the front where, again, like that paint has worn its way off. The metal has been slightly scuffed and damaged along the way. The front tire is also seeming to be real rubber. In fact, I can almost kind of peel it away, and you can see how much give there is to that rubber tire. Some nice silver done to the interior tire section there. You can see how detailed it is, where you've even got these little pock marks, these little spots that they carved and textured into the sides of both of the tires, on both sides, I should say. Got some wiring done here in the red coloring. Again, a really nice looking piece. It's not what I would have expected. I think out of the gate I would have hoped, I think, for a Batmobile, but like as the first outing of things, I'm really digging the design and the fact that we actually even get a vehicle. Again, let that sink in, that we actually get ourselves a vehicle. So that's pretty much from the side and from the front. We can certainly look at the interior section. We've got some Bat logos there, sculpted on either side. The front section seat, it's more so a support than anything else, because Batman's going to be kind of leaning against this. You've got a little control console with a little visual display, and way back there is actually going to be where Batman's hands go. On the other end of it, you flip it around, and just behind the crimson windshield is the sections in which Batman's legs are going to run back there. He's basically going to be laying down on the job, laying in a way sort of like the old G.I. Joes laid down inside the Sharks. If you guys remember the Sharks, they used to lay them down. I'm kind of comparing something to an old vintage toy, but I mean, still the same thing holds true for the fact that the way that Batman is going to be laying inside of it. As I said, the functionality on this is that the front tire does extend out, as well as this cockpit section also extends out as well. Batman seems to be able to fit in both cases, so even if you have it tucked further back, he fits in it, but he fits in it a little bit more, obviously a little more tighter. Next, we're going to bring in Batman. Still loving the look of this figure. And we need to get him in a lying position. No, not where he's going to be fibbing and not telling the truth, but actually in a laying down position. You don't necessarily have to bend the knees. Basically, you kind of want to get him in like a position like this. If it does help you at all, you can also, by all means, bring that out if it assists you. And what you need to do is you need to get Batman's legs. Let me just show you. You got to tuck Batman's legs. They go further back. You may actually think it ends right there, but it goes way back there, almost to the very back section of the Raptor. So basically all you have to do, I might have actually just wanted to straighten those legs a little bit more than what I did. Feed the legs back. Don't worry about the cape, because actually the cape, the effect that the cape's going to pull off is that you're actually going to run the cape along the top section of the Raptor. And then you can go ahead and tuck Batman's arms underneath. For this, you just want to straighten out those arms a little bit more. There we go. And you just want to feed Batman's arms through. I did a better job on this side, really. Feed it on the one side, and then we can go ahead and feed it through on the other. I just need to bring that arm around. The joint is just being a little difficult at the time being. And again, you just want to feed Batman through until he's not quite completely laying down, but you'll see what I mean. Basically, this is the look that you want to go with. Managed to finally get Batman's arms on either side, and sometimes I have the issue with the fins sticking out on both ends, but this is sort of the look that you want to get. Keeping in mind, you want to have Batman's head a little higher up to obviously see where he's going and still be able to read the display down below. Now again, I've got this fully extended. You could technically bring that further back, and you can see it still accommodates the Batman figure. He's just going to be a little bit more snug. You bringing it out slightly and being able to bring Batman back, I think makes a little bit more sense, because again, you can then make out the view screen down below, which you would be obstructed by having that really so far back. Again, this will still allow you to bring the tire forward and back. There's no restrictions. Simply because you got Batman sitting in there doesn't limit the fact that you can bring out that tire for additional clearance. The Bat Raptor rolls quite well. You might notice it actually makes a bit of a noise, and it's more so for the fact that it's running over top of those treads. The tires, keeping in mind, aren't completely leveled and flat. You can kind of hear it as it's going over those treads. It kind of adds the appeal of the fact that you do get textured treads. And again, I like the fact that you actually get yourself rubber treads versus something that's actually plastic. Overall, it's a neat looking designed vehicle. In all intents and purposes, you could really swap Batman out for like Nightwing. Nightwing would just basically fit in the cockpit the exact same way as Batman. And as you can see, you kind of get a neat effect on the back by having the cape actually draping over top of it. It's not something you want to be tucking inside there. It just simply won't fit. It's too close for comfort. But having the actual cape draping out on the end there kind of really gives you a nice look to it when you've got Batman rolling down the streets. Again, it's not something I would have expected. I think most fans probably would have hoped and prayed that we would have gotten ourselves a Batmobile. McFarlane had alluded to the fact that we were going to be getting ourselves vehicles, and sort of as the first outing things go, I'm actually happy with the way that the Raptor looks. It's a vehicle that hasn't made many appearances in the comics, no, but it's still a neat looking vehicle to have on display. And keeping in mind, the last time we actually got vehicles for 7-inch sized figures, I can't even think of the last time that's actually happened. I guess in the same way that the 7-inch figures, the ones both Wave 1 that we've already looked at and the upcoming Wave 2, have been more so inspired and taken from source material of recent comic runs than more the older back issues. The same thing really could be applied here for the Bat Raptor, appearing in 2018. So this is a pretty new vehicle. This was the first outing that McFarlane chose for a first vehicle. And I think it's a successful vehicle, keeping in mind, again, if you're going to be going to uncharted waters of releasing vehicles for figures, you don't want to get an oversized Batmobile. Keeping in mind, a Batmobile compared to a Bat Raptor would probably be twice the size, or at the very least another half this vehicle, a little bit longer. That takes up a lot of shelf space, and the chances of selling it all sit on the shoulders of collectors. It could be a make or break for the line. So I really get the fact that McFarlane Toys wanted to have a scaled down first appearance vehicle. And I guess for that, the Bat Raptor fits the bill. It was either this, or they could have gone the route of a Bat Cycle, but this definitely has a little bit more presence going than simply just a cycle that Batman would ride atop of. It's got some nice coloring to it, mostly, yes, all black, but the little scratchings of silver, the little orange on the back of the thrusters, and the inclusion of rubber tires really make this an interesting enough vehicle. Also for the fact that Batman is sitting in it differently than what he would normally sit in a Batmobile. He's not sitting down looking forward, he's laying down and sort of like looking ahead of him. The fact that it also does have the front section that shifts in and out sort of adds a little bit of extra something to it. It's not just a shell of plastic. Again, keeping in mind, this is probably going to be just a taste of things to come. Based on how well vehicles like this would sell, would certainly dictate whether McFarlane Toys would expand and look further to the idea of giving us future vehicles. So keep that in mind when you see pieces like this. There is probably a smaller piece to a much bigger puzzle. As a whole, I really do like this vehicle. It's not what I would have wanted, but having it in hand, it's not a bad vehicle actually to be displaying the Cape Crusader in. Have you guys managed to pick up this one for yourself? Let me know down below in the comments section what you guys think of the DC Multiverse Bat Raptor. I'd also like to send a big thank you to folks over at McFarlane Toys who were nice enough to provide this sample my way. If you guys also want to go back and have a look at some of my other DC Multiverse figure reviews, there's a playlist just for that. And keep your peepers peeled, because there's going to be a whole lot more McFarlane stuff coming your way. The key to that is making sure you hit that subscribe button down below. The key to that is making sure you turn on that bell notification. And the key to that is, as I said, keep your peepers peeled, because there's going to be a whole lot of videos coming soon to this channel. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.